Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome back to Toffee TV with me, Peter McPartland. Barry Cass with me as well. We've got the sign out the way. Mohamed Besic is in. There's already a special. Go and watch that one if you want to hear about the sign. And that one's already out there. Go and watch that one. But it's done. It's a relief, isn't it? It's the weight off the shoulders. And hopefully now we can move on to the next one.
I didn't know whether we were going to start with some kind of dance or celebration or what have you, but yeah, it's good that it's finally been completed. It's been a few weeks in the making, like that video, the special. Go and check it, like Ped's just said. But it's good, it's good that we've strengthened and we move on now. That's out the way rather than it hanging over. I've seen a lot of comments regarding is this going to be a Leroy Fair type situation. It's not. He's here, thankfully, and he actually smiled on a couple of the pictures.
He looks a dangerous man. That's all I'm going to say. He looks a dangerous man. He looks like that fella you don't want to bump into.
You could see him in a Bourne movie, I think, just in the background.
He just misses a scar on his face. I'm not talking like Harry Potter. I'm talking like one of them sort of going right across the
Frank
face.
Ribery-esque.
It would suit him more because he's still got those sorts of like, boyish good looks, but he just had that little scar, would just give it. But the gun tattoo and the knuckle duster tattoo, it's worrying, to be fair.
Questionable. He maybe needs just to wear the Under Armour all the time.
Yeah.
Really.
It was interesting how the deal was done though, because we'd obviously known for a couple of weeks. It was out there, various papers, various media reports out there. It was bubbling under. There was a few little problems that weren't really at the Everton's end. We've mentioned this before. And then, he gets spotted in the city. He gets spotted in Everton gear going on the flight to Thailand. And then obviously the club probably felt there was pressure to put something out there about it. And they did, they put something on Friday night saying he's going to Thailand, he's not going to play. They never said that we signed him. They never said we hadn't signed him. They just basically said, once we get back, we'll introduce him to the fans and everyone will be happy. It's a very, very surreal way of bringing a player to the club.
It was all he could do, though, wasn't it? Like you say, it'd been bubbling under and those pictures are out there and his agent taking him in a very open public place to have a meal. Probably not the best thing to do.
Do you think that was calculated, by the way? Because the problem did seem to be with the agent. Do you think maybe the agent done that on purpose, almost as to say, well, he's here now, you're going to have to sign whatever thing you need to sign?
Well, possibly, but I think it was at the other end. It wasn't really at Everton's end. But anyway, I think once that Roberto Martinez wanted them to go to Thailand with the club, and you've got people with phones and everything at the airport. Yeah. So, he was obviously very, very much part of that travelling party. And Everton were very, very confident. He wouldn't have gone to Thailand if there was still a situation where he wouldn't sign. So obviously it was very, very close. He couldn't announce him as the player because he wasn't the player then. But obviously things had happened Friday night, Saturday morning. That's why you would have seen him in the kit on Saturday and things like that. So it's been done. He only got back at dinner time Monday, and it was announced, Monday afternoon. So it's great news, and we move on. I haven't seen too much of him. Yeah. Only what we've seen in the World Cup, but we move on.
As I say, we've already gone through all that on the other video, the best signs one. Go and find it. If you subscribe, and you should have it anyway, you will have watched it by now because you subscribed. But if you haven't, then go and subscribe. We are in pre-season. We've had a couple of games under our belts now. Tranmere last week, 2-2, which I was at over at Prenton Park. The place was just full of blues. And then, Sunday, 1-0 defeat by Leicester City in Thailand. Some people not too happy about that, but we're not going to look at that. It's pre-season, isn't it? You've got a squad out there which is a youngish squad. Lots of changes. There's still lots of players missing from the World Cup, haven't come back from the holidays yet, and it's pre-season. That's all you can stress, isn't it?
What did you take from the Tranmere game? Because obviously it was a 2-2 draw.
All I took from it was that it was nice to see Darren Gibson back. It was nice to see him on the park playing football, spreading the ball about. It was nice to see Garber playing at left back, seeing what his option was. It was just nice to have
Pienaar.
It was nice to have Pienaar back. It was just nice to have players back, players getting fit, a nice run out in a nice sort of friendly atmosphere, and that's all you can take from these things. Yeah. There wasn't any sort of new signings. It was nice to see Gareth Barry out there playing in his first ever Everton performance as an Everton player. And apart from that, it was a game of football. And to be honest, the thing that took most out of it was Max Power playing for Tranmere. I thought he was fantastic. He might be one to watch, honestly. I thought he was fantastic. What a name as well, Max Power from The Simpsons. Homer Simpson's alter ego, of course. Yeah. But no, and you watched yesterday's game against Leicester City. Apart from sporting a really fantastic new away kit, not much else is there apart from fitness.
No, I mean, started off quite brightly. Everton actually passing the ball really well and cut Leicester open a few times, but it soon fell into pre-season walking pace mode. Obviously, the conditions, they kept stressing how hot and humid it was. You can't really take anything. You want to win every game. I want us to win every game we play, and I wanted us to score 5 or 6 goals. The only kind of real problem that I thought we played quite well in terms of the possession and brought some kids on, and the team continued to pass the ball really well and try and keep possession. But the final third, we were very, very poor in that final third.
Which, when you think about it, that's the area where you have to be sharpish. That's the real area where the sharpness of a real fit player comes into it. That extra touch, that little bit of movement, body shape, or whatever, and that's something that really doesn't come into the highest levels till the opening day, or even not even in the opening day. A couple of weeks into the season.
I just wanted a little bit more in that final third. We had Leon Osman forced a good save from Schmeichel. Shane Duffy went close with a header. Luke Garbutt a great free kick in the first half. In the second half, there was very little. There was nothing. But we did make a lot of changes at half time. I thought young Chris Long looked very, very good up front when he come on. Full of running, good touch, good movement. Like I say, impressed with Garbutt. And it was good to see a couple of the younger lads still question marks for me a little bit over Conor McElhenney and Hallam Hope as to, maybe they look as though they need a bit more football, but it was good for them.
Do they need to be in and around the first team this season just to get used to the conditions? Maybe the odd appearance coming off the bench, appearances maybe in the Europa League or maybe in the the League Cup, just to get in and around to know what level they need to be at. Because I think sometimes we put high hopes on these players, but they haven't been around the conditions of how tough it is to be a Premier League player, so maybe they need to grasp that themselves. So I'm sure Roberto Martinez will be looking at that and thinking, I'm gonna put them in there this year, not in the team as such, but just in and around there.
I don't know. I think personally, McElhenney will benefit from a year out on loan. I know that was the intention last season. He broke his leg, obviously very early on, and that put pay to that. But I think he needs, almost the way Leon Osman done it, he needs to go out, play for a team where it's important to win. It's the be-all and end-all for those other 10 lads you share in the dressing room with, in front of supporters who will let you know if you're having one, and so that you grasp what it is each week to turn up at the stadium, have your suit on, and people to have thousands of people relying on you week in, week out. I think that's what he needs.
What level would you be looking at out for that? Because obviously we've seen players go out on loan before, and we've seen them go out on loan, and we've seen the likes of Hallam Hope go to places like Bury, Northampton. It's all well and good, but surely these players need to be playing at least the Championship at this stage now.
Well, Hallam Hope had a couple of loan spells. He got a hat-trick in one game for Bury towards the end of the season. So you would look for him to kind of be League One, I would say now. League One, maybe Championship. Conor McElhenney, definitely Championship level. If they look at McElhenney and think he's closer to the first team, I know Roberto Martinez thinks he's got, he's a talented boy. You'd be looking at maybe a Wigan type team, someone like that who will be up there pushing and see if he can get in and hold the place down and develop. I just personally think that's what he needs for his development. I think there's a gap when you see lads like Ross Barkley with that extra little bit special. I think he's just underneath that, and therefore you only really gain what it is to be a footballer when you need to be relied on each week. I think, it's great being part of the 18 on a Saturday and warming up with the subs, knowing you're never really getting on. I think to kick on as a footballer, it's regular football, and particularly a centre forward, you need to play every week.
Yeah, I suppose as well for those other players, it's maybe training with the first team a lot more as well, and knowing, getting into physical battles with the likes of Sylvain Distin and players like that, where you are really just going to find out what it's all about.
See, when I was talking about the likes of Chris Long, the lad's quite tall as well and looks quite quick. So he looks to me like a player really, really good on the ball, as though he could do a little bit of the Europa League last 15 away from home, working hard and continuing his development in the under-21s. I think Makeleni's been at that kind of level for a couple of years and needs to kind of realise what he is. Is he an out-and-out centre-forward? Is he someone who plays as a 10? Is he a wide player? Go to these clubs and get that ground. And Chris Long's maybe the kind of one you'd bring in League Cup sub, Europa League sub, and let him build his experience from there.
When do you think that decision will be made? Because you look at players as well, like Shane Duffy, and you think they're on the verges. Do you think that decision on those kind of players will be made maybe towards the end of the transfer window rather than before the season? Because just so we all know where we're at.
Definitely, I think the likes of Duffy, it's a big pre-season for him. He looked okay yesterday. And he's really good at competing. He's good in the air. He likes to tackle. But his positional play for me, if you look at someone like John Stones, he's generally in the right place at the right time. Okay, he made a couple of errors yesterday and put a couple of wonderful recovering tackles in. I think Shane Duffy needs to improve on his positional play. Done okay down at Yeovil. Whether it's another loan for him, I'm not so sure. But I think for the likes of him, it will be towards the end of the window. Yeah. Once Roberto knows the market is kind of done, he knows he's got in who he wants, then a decision will be made on them. That's what I'd imagine anyway. We're
all still crying out for new signings. We all want new signings. We all know where we need that new signing. Roberto Martinez has spoke about it as well after the game in Thailand. He wants a centre forward. He wants a number 9. He needs that player. He needs that target player. Not only a target player, but a player who's going to score goals as well. Lukaku's the name that keeps coming up again and again and again. It's obvious that he's the club's number 1 target. Everything is pinned on him at the moment. I think he comes back from his holiday the middle of this week. I think it's been either the 30th or the 31st. Things may accelerate once he comes back from his holiday. He has been doing a little bit of training with Anderlecht, which is interesting, trying to keep his fitness up. But we've also heard different things. There was a member of staff was on a radio station the back end of last week saying Lukaku's our number 1 target. He wants to come to us. He wants to be at Everton permanently. That's strange, that isn't it? That's a strange thing for me because I haven't heard that from Roberto Martinez. A club wouldn't do that, but to hear someone go on a national radio station and be so adamant that we are after this player and this player also wants to come to us, it really is worrying at the highest level, isn't it, of a player?
It's very strange to hear. Ian Atkins is obviously the person you're talking about. It's very strange to see those kind of comments. I think in terms of we want Lukaku, I think every man and his dog knows we want Lukaku. In terms of saying Rom has told Chelsea he wants to leave and come to Everton permanently, I'm not so sure that that's the case at the moment. What we do know is there was a little bit of a shift towards the back end of last week when Didier Drogba re-signed for Chelsea. I think the Lukaku camp, then looked and thought, you know what, maybe it really is time to move on from here. And Everton are the people who are banging at the door. Everton have been banging at that door since May the 13th. So whether or not,
it's an aggressive stance, isn't it? It really is.
Well, it's a gamble from Everton because look, if Lukaku turns around and says he doesn't want to come here permanently, then we've got to move very quickly into wooing somebody else who will then know that he hasn't been our first choice. So it's a very, very, it's a calculated risk Martinez has taken, but I think we just all want it concluded one way or the other, don't we? And I think this finally may be the week we learn one way or the other. He said he wants someone in by the 16th. He knows we need our number 9 in by the 16th. We actually need 2 strikers, definitely this window, without a shadow of a doubt.
But as we spoke about before, it does seem very much like nothing can happen one way or the other till this is sorted out, because he's obviously got other targets and other financial arrangements will come down to whatever Lukaku, if he was to come to Everton, would cost. And obviously if he was to come on loan, then maybe other things would open up. So it is very much reliant, and I'm sure he knows that. It's just a case of getting it done one way or the other.
Definitely. I mean, look, you can't go after a Wilfred Boney at the moment in case Lukaku is... Obviously, Lukaku's still and ahhing. Otherwise, Everton would make a decision one way or the other. If he was saying, I'm coming on loan, they would then go and buy, presumably, another striker straight away. So there must still be that opportunity that he's going to come on permanently. I think we all know that it's there now. I think things have changed a little bit, and you're right. There's no point then saying, well, we'll go and buy Perisic or something for about 9 million, and Lukaku says, yeah, I want to come permanently, and we haven't got the money.
They'll know, won't they? Because they'll know one way or another, won't they?
People are talking as though he's just swinging in the dark. You know, he knows exactly everything's lined up. He knows who he wants, what he wants. We're talking about this, Lukaku may be affecting the other striker he wants. That other striker might already be tied up with Martinez. He might be waiting on someone to come into his club to get out of that club. It just very much looks to us on the outside like after Lukaku we'll plan again. Yeah. It may not.
We live in a world where we need information. We just need information all the time. 24-hour news. 24-hour news, by the way, it needs information, and if it doesn't get the right information, it fills the information. We know this. We know this on transfer deadline.
We know how hungry people are because we've been asked to do videos every day.
Exactly, but the likes of 24-hour news coverage, they will fill the gap.
Yeah.
Whether that be true or not, they need that information as much as we need that information. It's the same on deadline day. It's the same for
it's the same for a certain betting company.
Well, I was just move on to betting companies, because again, people, Wolfsburg said they were signing because there was a rumour on Twitter, so everyone goes and puts bets on. So it all rolls into one. News creates news, one way or another. It doesn't have to be truthful. If something makes the news, a news agency will report that news, whether it's true or not. They can speculate on whatever they want. It's up to them. That's how they do their business. And that's how we do our business. We have to talk about these things as well. There are plenty of other names at the moment. The one probably most prominent is David Hennen, the young Belgian striker, 18-year-old. Looks like he's already said his goodbyes, but nothing has been concluded. He was at Finch Farm reportedly last week, close to tying up a 1.5 million. He is looked at a player that will come in and play in the under-21s, whether that be for 6 months or for a year. But it looks like that is one that Roberto Martinez wants to get. Or probably feels like he's already got it tied up and is not worrying about it too much.
Yeah, I think by all accounts, that's practically done, that deal. And Hennen will join sometime this week. He is planned for the under-21s, but he's very, very talented, and I think if he starts showing enough, probably in training, and you could see again him being promoted into the Europa League squad. Excuse me, for a couple of cameos or a League Cup squad or whatever, and he'll just develop from there. And John Stones was brought in like that, and got his chance and grabbed it with both hands. So that he's an interesting one. He's quick, pace. He can play either wing. Got 2 good feet, I believe. So he's one for the future, definitely, but an exciting one at that.
Yeah. Young Galloway as well from Milton Keynes. That looks like another one that could be done soon. It's a little bit more complicated, but the player wants it. I think Everton want to get it sorted, but it's out there. Another one as well, Christian Atsu, Ghanaian international, played in the World Cup from Chelsea. Everton looking to maybe bring him in on loan. I think he was on loan last year. As well, and they're probably looking at his next stage of development. But again, this is one where Everton couldn't bring in 2 players on loan from the same club, so
that's dependent.
So that's obviously very dependent on the Lukaku situation. So
he's one who, if you believe the reports, has got 16 or 17 clubs after him. But obviously Chelsea were pleased with the way Everton have done the business with Lukaku, so it gave Everton a good opportunity in terms of negotiating with them, and would fill that kind of winger role that we're looking at. Yeah. Nice and pacey. So he'd
strong
be
as well, very strong as playing.
Be a good player.
Fit in with the mould as well. I'm sure there'll be a lot more rumours out there. There'll be a lot more talk between now and the beginning of the season. Just, I think, calm. Just needs to be a little bit more calm.
I think the problem is we're all the same. Again, we're all exactly the same. We'd love to sit here each week and reel off the next one, wouldn't we, and talk all day about the new signings, and we'd love to be going out and buying the Sergio Agueros of this world and Di Maria and all of those kind of players. But Everton are where they are. They are where they are. There's no point going on social media, smacking your head against the brick wall saying, why aren't we spending what Liverpool are spending? And Liverpool have had Champions League and Suarez money and different owners. We know where we are, and until we're taken over or until we get an influx of investment from somewhere else, we're going to be in a position where we choose our our options carefully.
Yeah.
And we spend what we spend, and it's the way it is. And if you don't like it, don't get involved in it. Just wait for the player to be stood there with the shirt and deal with it from there. Yes, you may come on and say this board needs replacing. Well, it may well do, but until someone comes with that silver briefcase with money falling out, we know where we are. So don't get wound up. Don't fall into it. Don't listen to reports that Roberto Martinez only wants 2 new players. When it shuts on September the 1st, we will all know exactly where we stand. If we bring 2 players in and that's it, 1 striker and it's not enough, then rant and rave if you don't agree with it. But until then, try and just stay calm and we're all in it together, and it is what it is.
And I would say that, you go back 12 months and you look at the players Everton brought in then and look at the players in now. I feel a little bit more comfortable with the players they brought in this season than last season. It was Robles and Kone and Alcaraz and Delafeu, and yes, they bolstered the squad, and obviously, but Besic and Gareth Barry are just a lot better in terms of of players and the payments as well. So from that point of view, I think
it's building blocks, isn't it? And we could get another. I believe he'll have a number 9 in by the Leicester game, probably 1 or 2 others, maybe a couple of kids, and then he'll take it from there. And then after that period, that fortnight after that game, he'll be looking again, and he might buy another couple and get another one in on loan. A lot can happen in these next 5 weeks.
Couple of final things as well. Umbro released the new black kit, or certainly unveiled the black kit. You're a fan?
Yeah, love it. I think it's very, very nice. Very understated, but very nice. I think it looked quite good on Sunday as well. So, yeah, I'm impressed.
I'm happy with both of the kits so far.
Both kits are fantastic. A 3rd kit that's going to be jazzy pink with yellow spots.
I have no idea.
No.
Lots of people speculating on purple.
Maybe. Well, that's
I've
to
no
do
idea.
with training gear and stuff, but whatever.
It would seem strange having 3 kits of a dark colour, though, for me. But again, that's just speculation. Yeah. That's what people are putting out there.
A white kit, then. Possibly white, blue, so. White, I'd like. Lovely.
Classic. Classic. Well, that's it. Just on the kits, are you a traditionalist or are you a traditionalist? Because there's a lot of people out there saying, I want the white socks back, or I want an amber shirt. Now, the white socks only go back to, I think, the 60s, and the amber shirt only really goes back to the 60s as well. Whereas the socks this year are 90 years old, and a black strip is actually 100 years old. So that is proper tradition.
I want a white kit. I want a white, blue, white. That's what I want. I'm not bothered though.
Fair enough.
It is what it is.
Just what you want, rather than being traditional. That's what you want. Aussie's testimonial on Sunday against Porto. Good opposition, and a
very
good opportunity for fans to get down there and support Leon Osman. So whether you love him or you hate him or you're indifferent to him, he's a lad who's put everything in to his time at Everton. He's had setbacks in the form of injuries. He's had setbacks in basically, I think he was getting shown the door. He went on a couple of loans, come back under David Moyes, got into the team, and has been part of that squad for the last 11, 12 years, and has always popped up at a key moment with big goals. Always. Man City, Larissa, Portsmouth. Just to name 3.
Right
just to name 3. He's always been there with big goals.
Derby, of course, a couple of years ago.
He would run through brick walls. He's as Everton as you can get. And
330 games, is it? 340 games, incredible.
He's as Everton as you can get. He's the heart and soul of the club. He's the prankster, he's the jokester, he's the man who probably makes people feel comfortable. We've had a
breakout.
I thought you
were going to give me that. Then,
we've interviewed him recently, and he is as down to the ground as you can get. Dead nice fella, and I think people should turn out and support him.
Yeah, look, whether, like you've said it at the start, whether you like him, hate him, whatever, you shouldn't hate him. I'm not his biggest fan in terms of certain positions he's been played in. Out wide, for me, has ruined him really with a lot of people. I think when he plays off the striker, he's actually very, very good. But I think he should go. There's not going to be many Leon Osmans as we go forward, the way football is anymore. And you should get in there and support him. He loves Everton, very, very good footballer. If he was a bit quicker, he might never have lasted at Everton this long. They've been off somewhere else. So get there and support them, and you might have a couple of new faces to see.
That's
You might
it,
have
yeah.
a big number 9. You just never know,
Don't
mate.
don't start.
I said we
don't,
might.
Don't start the rumours going.
No, there's no rumours. We just might. Maybe
Yeah.
Duncan will play. That's in that.
Imagine that.
Big
Imagine he
Duncan.
come
Just
on.
bringing him on last 10.
Yeah.
Porto, Everton tuning up. Centre half kicking our youngsters everywhere, and the big man just steps off the bench.
Oh,
Big class.
dreaming
Classic.
of it now. Dreaming of it now.
That'd sell. That'd sell the game.
No, that would sell the game. Right, don't forget, get on Twitter, follow us at ToffeeTV1. Get on there and follow us. Make sure you do that. Subscribe on YouTube, YouTube.com/EFCTV1 as well. Just search Toffee TV. Find us, subscribe. If you haven't seen all the videos, make sure you watch them. Can we just address something very quickly? Few criticisms about the show so far, about the sound, about the background. Listen, it's a work in progress. We're doing our best. We're doing everything we can. As long as there's good content coming out of him and good questions coming out of me, that's all we're bothered about. Sometimes,
And it'll get bigger.
sometimes this at the back goes a bit array. Sometimes the sound's not always brilliant. We're trying things out. We're doing the best we can with the equipment we can. And as THC just said, Baz, we're doing the best we can with what we've got, and we will get better and better and better. Hopefully, fingers
More
crossed.
guests.
You support us, we'll get better. We'll get better guests. We'll get bigger. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, the club will give us a little bit of help as well, and we'll get there. We'll
And
get
you won't
there.
have to watch Sky Sports News just totally doing teams 1 to 6 and 8 to 20 and
Exactly.
just ignoring
But the
them.
last thing-
That's why we're here.
The last thing we need is people telling us what we already know. We're perfectionists, absolute perfectionists. We want this to be in HD on your 4K telly. That's what we want.
I'd love a 4K tel. If you've got one, give us a little message and tell us
That's
how
what we
good it
want.
is.
We want everything to look as good as it possibly can. But at the moment, think about it. Just two normal fellas who have to go to work and do this in the spare time. Think about it for a
Keep
little bit.
supporting us though, because
Yeah. We
we
love
have
it.
had loads and loads of positivity.
No, we love it.
loads of
As I say, it's
That's
very, very
great.
minor. But come on, have a think about it. We're not Sky. We're not BBC. We're not ITV. We're not NBC. We're not.
But Everton,
Couldn't have said it any better. Right, we'll be back soon. Make sure you're here as well. Ped, Baz, Toffee TV. Enjoy the day.